What's going on, Bulls fans? Unfortunately, we got an update, and it's not a good one when it comes to Coby White. We're going to talk about it all and more, but we got to play that intro first.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Haize, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, man, we got to get into it. Unfortunately, this is not a good update. I don't bring a good update for you guys, unfortunately, on this one. Coby White. It got announced today by Billy Donovan, again, who's the most transparent when it comes to Bulls injuries. But, as Winton will say, he got to be more transparent about his own shit. But unfortunately, it seems like Coby White is going to be out for at least another week with a bone bruise in his ankle. But it could be longer than that. And the reason why this is concerning, especially for Chicago Bulls fans, is that some may remember the fact that Lonzo Ball's injury initially started as a bone bruise, right? And it developed into something worse. Now, in no way does that mean that's going to be Coby White. Doesn't mean that. Coby White could very well go through this situation without a major, without turning into anything else major. But I'm sure that there has to be that concern. And that's why you're seeing the Chicago Bulls be very cautious in regards to Coby White with this bone bruise. Bone bruises are nothing to play about. They just aren't. They're nothing to take lightly. They could turn into something not only serious, but something that takes quite a bit of surgery, right? And so that's something that the Bulls have to make sure that they are being very cautious of and aware of when it comes to Coby White in the situation that he's in with his injury. This is concerning. And I want to be clear here, right? I don't want to say, because maybe it could be fine. And Coby White will be back in a week. We will look back at this. We won't even think about it. But this could very well turn into something that lasts the entirety of the season. This could be something that even if the bone bruise itself doesn't turn into something else, that it could still leave Coby White out for the rest of the season. That's the potential here, right? And I always like to be real with you guys and talk to you guys about the potential of things happening, because I don't want to catch you off guard. I don't want, if this does develop into something else, it'd be like, oh my God, how did they do this? No, we're going to talk about it. Because this could turn into something that it really does impact what's going on with Coby White. And for anyone that thought or was hoping that Coby White was going to be moved at this trade deadline, this pretty much takes this away. Even if Coby White does come back in the week, right, which then will put you a week before the trade deadline, there aren't many teams that are going to take a chance on a player that had a bone bruise. They're just not. That's how serious this injury is. And so, hopefully it's nothing. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying, hopefully Coby White is fine, and we'll be talking about this, him being back on the court in a couple weeks, and we'll be like, hey, you remember when we were worried that Coby's season could be in jeopardy, and everything's fine. That's the hope. That's always going to be the goal, but you got to be aware this could turn into something real when it comes down to it and last more than just a week. So you got to look at that when it comes down to it, and yeah, I mean, the Bulls are gonna be very protective over this situation when it comes to Coby White. As they should. They got to protect their asset. They got to protect the value, right? And regardless of trading Coby or not, you cannot allow Coby White to just go for nothing. You can't. So Amit says, yo, I'm on my way to the game right behind the Bulls bench. Shout out. That's very good seats. Very, very good seats. And this is why I believe in sitting out for extended time if you need, because injuries like this do not rush back too fast. Oh, bone bruise on the ankle. If you rush a bone bruise, yeah, that's some serious surgery when it comes down to it, right? So you don't want to risk that at all. Depending on how severe is probably what you're going to get into. Yeah, that boy busted Zach LaVine. What? Huh? Well, it looked like any trade talks around Coby are over now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I believe that they were ever really like in any type of advanced stages anyway, but for sure. Remember, Patrick Williams last season turned into a bone bruise, and then he was out for the rest of the season, if I remember correctly. No, Patrick wasn't a bone bruise. It was a Damn it. It was a weird word. It wasn't a bone bruise, though, because it was in his foot. So it wasn't a bone bruise. But it was basically what amounted to a bubble being in his bone. Contusion, contrusion, something, but it wasn't a bone bruise. Depending on how severe it is, how long he'll be out, does this put at rest the Lonzo trade now? Because Io just came back too, and I don't want any Javon Carter minutes. No, it doesn't. Because again, and everybody needs to I get where you're. This isn't frustration with you. I get why everybody asks this question, right? Or ask questions like this. If the Bulls make a move or making any moves, it's not to get better; it's to gain assets. So no, injury to Coby White does not stop the Chicago Bulls from gaining assets if that's their focus. They would still trade Lonzo Ball because winning isn't the goal. Gaining assets is the goal. So you got to keep that in mind when you ask stuff like that. I guess the one positive is we get to see some data on the team without Coby if he is out for a bit. So rest him and be cautious, and we'll check back whenever he turns up. I guess so. Then they diagnosed Lonzo with a bone bruise when he first went down. I wouldn't trust the medical staff after the whole situation to be. Well, this is a different medical staff. So that's the first thing. Now, I'm not saying that this medical staff has seemed like it's much better, but this is a completely different medical staff than what we had when Alonzo's initial injury. This is our third medical staff in the last 5 or 6 years, actually. So at some point, you got to ask yourself, is it the medical staff? Or is it the Bulls? Is it the Bulls? Jacob Pone. What up, Haize? Blessings, brother. Did you check my little bro? I have not had a chance to yet. So for those that don't know, if you aren't subscribers to Chicago Bears Central, some semi truck ran through a bunch of power lines and ran through a parking lot and hit a bunch of cars and an apartment complex. Hit the park, like literally, you took out a lot. I have not had power for the majority of the day. We did not have any power for about 6 hours today. So I have not, everything that I've been doing since then has just literally been me trying to catch up, right? So I've been playing catch up all day. It literally, they knocked out the power in the middle of us doing Locked On Bulls, and shit hasn't been the same since. I'm not even going to front on you. Why do our players get bruised or bubbled so much? I have no idea. You finna go live in 50? Yes. So this is going to be separate from the pregame show. I just with it being a serious injury, like I wanted to separate. If it was something minor, like hey, Coby White's going to be out for a couple of games, I would have mixed it with the pregame show. But with this being like something that I think is fairly serious, I didn't want to mix them together. Corn, nervous about this. No lie, I agree with you. Making Billy have more forced rotations, I don't mind because of the injuries. Hell, don't think that you're forcing Billy Donovan to have forced rotations because Billy Donovan will still do some dumb shit. It just is what it is. You know the thing that I hate about having smartwatches now? So I'm a watch collector, right? I have Invictus, I have a Movado, a lot of Invictus fossils, but having to charge your watch is just something that I never get used to. I'll never get used to having to charge your watch at all. Haize, do you still give the Bulls team 30 to 33 to 35 wins? We're at 19. Yes. We're on pace to win 35, 6-ish games. Yes, I still think that we're not gonna win over 35 games. Damn, bro, I'm sorry, but hey, bro, listen, it was the crazy shit. So this is like peek behind my real life for a second, right? So I'm sitting there doing Locked On Bulls. I was about to make a great point. Power went out. And I'm thinking, it's snowing. Maybe it'll come right back on or whatever. I go outside and all I hear is sirens. I'm talking about like I step basically barely on the porch and it's just a stream of sirens. I said, oh no, somebody fucked up. And then so later on, I have the Citizen app. And on the Citizen app, they have a video of like, it was one of the semi trucks that were carrying cars. So it had a bunch of brand new cars on it. And it went through, hit power lines, ran through a parking lot, and hit an apartment building. And so and somebody literally was like, I bought a new car for the first time, and my car was one of the cars on that semi truck. I was like, that's crazy. It's ridiculous. Bone edema. That's what Patrick Williams was. It was the bone edema. That's what it was. Honestly, who the hell is the foot doctor? I was wondering this earlier before the news broke out about Coby. The podiatrist, who knows? It's probably a general medical doctor. I don't think they probably have a foot person specifically. Put some more cushion on your player's shoes. Damn it, that's hilarious. Taylor Horton Tucker, 20 points a game. Now, shit. Yeah, if he gets 40 shots, that's the type of efficiency THT is rocking with. If he gets 40 shots, yeah, sure. But we'll see. We'll see. It's unfortunate. Like this whole season has been unfortunate for Coby. Some things in his control, some things out of his control, right? Like you look at he actually started off. I think people forget that Coby White's first 5 or 6 games are actually really, really good. And then the inconsistency started. The role changed, right? Which we talked about how he was looked to get his offense differently. Then he has an injury. He comes back from that. You now have another injury. It's just like think it the for people like me who really hope that Coby White was going to build off the way that last season ended, man. This has just been a comedy of errors, man. It really sucks that this is what Coby White has gone through because it really felt like this was going to be a launching pad season for him this year. So Haize, you got a G-Shock watch. Them was thorough back. I used to have a bunch back in the day, but I don't have any now. So when I used to live in Europe, when I lived in Germany, G-Shocks were easy as fuck to get. Like I'm talking about, like we had colors over there that motherfuckers didn't have. You had the big G-Shocks, the little G-Shocks. I had a red one. I think I had a blue one as well and a black one. I used to love G-Shock watches, man. But all right, y'all, I'm going to get ready to wrap this up because we'll be live again in like 8 minutes to do the pregame show. So give myself a little bit of time between that. I love you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bulls Central Pod. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be live here for the pregame show in just a second. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See Red, y'all. Peace.